Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Monday, April 16th, 2012. There's a lot to cover, so let's get right into the charts here. I'm going to start off with the S&P 500 E-mini futures. You'll see that they are trading up by about a point and a quarter, right to around the 1366.25 level. Again, futures are trading positive just by a little bit here. There's a few things to talk about this morning before we begin. One is the Spanish bond yields. They are starting to soar back above 6%, and that is problematic, as we've talked about over and over for months now. But anytime you get the Spanish bond yields starting to surge, that is problematic. The Spanish stock market right now is down about 37 points, or about a 0.5%. So a decent little dip there, but most of Europe is positive today. So again, the FTSE 100, the CAC 40, German DAX, and also the Italian market, all positive, just by a little bit, by about 0.3%. I believe France is up about 0.6%. But either way, all the markets are positive with the exception of Spain. Now, that's a little bit of a surprise because they all go hand in hand together, if you ask me. When Spanish bond yields start to rise, Italian bond yields are probably close by. However, they are not rising, so we'll have to just watch that very closely and see how this market plays out throughout the day. And the market in Europe does not close till 11:30 East Coast time in the United States. So futures are basically flat, just up about a point and a half at the moment on the S&P, and we'll see how that trades out once the opening bell rings at 9:30. All right, let's take a look at a couple of other things here in the market. One, we're going to start off with oil. Spot crude is trading down about 50 cents to 102.33 per barrel. You also have gold down 13 points to $16.48 an ounce. Let's take a look at the USO first here, and you'll see the USO trading down to around the 38.80 level. So definitely a little bit of a dip to start the day on the USO, trading down a little bit. Let's take a look at the GLD, which is a good gold barometer, and you'll see that's right around the 159.90, 159.96 area. So again, gold and oil starting a little bit on the weaker side today, and we'll have to watch that throughout the session. Again, if the US dollar index is strong, expect gold and oil to be weak. If the US dollar index starts to fade after the opening bell, expect gold and oil to catch a bit higher. Same case could be made for the stock market, as everything trades inverse to the US dollar index. One thing I want to point out today, and I rarely talk about here, is the euro dollar. And if we get a chart up of the euro dollar, you'll see that this level is just continuing to hold right around the 130 area. So again, surprisingly, the euro, even with the Spanish bond yields spiking today, the euro is not falling much past that 130 level. You'll see how it traded below it just briefly around 2 in the morning, and it gets saved. So we'll have to watch that very closely. But a lot of traders are watching the euro today, and they want to see where this thing closes and how it plays out, because if the euro starts to fall apart, there's a good chance that all the European stock indexes will come down sharply. So we'll see how that all shakes out and plays out. But either way, right now the futures are still up about 2 points. Let's take a look at some things in the news today. First, we're going to start off with Citigroup. Citigroup sold off initially after earnings, now coming right back up. So it's basically trading right around this 33.65 level at the moment. Closed at 33.41 on Friday. The company had earnings. I guess they beat on the top line, but who really knows what you could do with earnings? We only care about the price action, and right now Citigroup is still holding steady, or basically flat from Friday's close after some early morning or pre-market gyrations here. We'll keep an eye on Citigroup this morning. There's still a lot of support, or I should say it's still going to be a real test to break through that 32.75 level today. If it does that, then Citigroup's in some trouble, and the stock could trade down to 32, possibly even a little bit lower. But right now, I think that Citigroup is still pretty much in its range where it's been for the past 3 or 4 trading days. So be careful on that one. But I'm not seeing anything great or anything terrible at the moment. Let's take a look at Charles Schwab, ticker symbol SCHW. This is one of the leading discount brokerages. Again, stock is trading right around $13.90, basically where it closed on Friday. So no real action there. Did have a little morning dip, and then it came right back up. But we'll keep this one on the radar. I don't see a lot here. Stock still has a fair amount of support around $13. even $12.85 if it does get down there. But again, you got to be careful in this market, as you just don't know which way it's going to turn once the opening bell rings and we get to see how Europe is really being affected. Let's take a look at Mattel, the toy maker here, ticker symbol MAT, trading down to around 32 bucks. There's a few levels I have here. This is a pretty strong gap down, but there looks like there's a fair amount of support around 31.75. There's also going to be some more support around 30.87, and then a lot more support around the $30 level, or just a pierce of 30 bucks by a couple of pennies. So watch those levels there, and then really you'd have to look all the way down to around the 28.75 level. I'm not sure it gets down there, but if it does, watch all of those levels, as you could see some small intraday bounces. It's going to be very important to put together any long side trades with the overall market today, as did have a pretty ugly Friday close. Let's take a look at this one right here. This is ECYT. I believe this stock was their cancer drug was bought out by Merck today, so this stock is having a nice big pop. There's not a lot I would do here. It is a really strong gap, so I would not go against it. I would not short this stock. It possibly could have a little bit more upside left in the cards, but it's very, very extended at this point. If you own it, congratulations. You can put a trailing stop in and ride it out, or you could just take your profit. The choice is up to you. If you don't own it, I would not do anything with it, but it is a strong gap, which means it can go higher. Okay, so we'll leave that one alone today, but if you own this ECYT, congratulations. It's a really, really nice trade. Now, one thing I want to point out, last night in the Asian markets, for the most part, the Nikkei was the weakest index out there, trading down 1.74%. That tells us that Japanese ADRs could be weak this morning. Stocks like Sony, you'll have to watch that one there. Although it's so oversold, so beaten up, could be weak at least at the start of the day. Canon is another stock, Chinese ADR. There's another one that could be weak at the start of the day. And then you have TM, which is Toyota Motor. Again, it's holding up fine at the moment, but it could trade down to that 79, maybe 79.50 level, which is support. So all the Japanese ADRs will be pretty weak, at least at the start of the day if the U.S. markets are weak, at least in my opinion. That's what I'm thinking. We'll see how it all plays out. But last night you did have the Asian markets mostly lower. As I said, the Nikkei was down 1.74%. The Hang Seng was only down about 0.4%. Shanghai was down, it looks like just 0.1%. Australia was down 0.5%. And then you had the Indian Sensex, which actually finished positive by about 0.3% on some rumors that they're going to cut rates. But the inflation is so high over there. I just can't understand how in God's earth they would cut rates. But you never know. You never know what these central banks will do. So again, we're going to leave it there today. That's what I have. Forgive me for my voice. I'm a little bit under the weather. Do have a little bit of a sore throat. But we'll leave it there, and I'll see everybody on the charts tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.